I'm not going to put a horizon on the time, but I think there will be other ETFs for sure.
An XRP one?
There will be other ETFs for sure.
but an XRP one?
I love this game we play. And for Gary Gensler to get smacked down by the U.S. court system again, I will. I think this year there will be legislation that passes. I don't think the market has passed to the U.S. I think it has passing. I don't know how to predict what's going to happen in the election cycle, but no matter what, there's going to be, a shift, if you will. And I think we will see a shift at the SEC where this is not rocket science. You could probably type into Sam's OpenAI, how do you regulate the U.S. and get a better answer than we're getting from the SEC.
But at the same time, there's a lot of other tools that regulators already have today. There's the power to inspect or examine, the power to enforce, as we've discussed, and the power to regulate.
High friction, high error rate, it's slow, it's expensive. And that's the opportunity to use these technologies to actually make it much simpler, much faster. I think the payments opportunity remains very large.
If you embrace artificial intelligence, you will be complete. If you do not and you're late, you'll be finished.
And so one of the things that the Ripple protocol does is it really encourages people to go ahead and hold their local currency, whatever other currency they want. They only use the digital currency as a rail, as a way to get from point A to point B.
They mentioned two digital assets, and that's XRP and XLM.
And there is a small space in that money flower for those private cryptocurrencies. So I agree with you that the winners of this
and digital assets enable the financialization of the internet, and we can bring financial services and digital assets to every single person on the planet that has a phone, and that's going to transcend.
Enjoy the ride, pal.
It's the XRP Army.
What's up, mother duckers? What's up, glitches? Back for some more Moon o'clock news. No breakfast, no coffee, just straight extra. Bullishness. Shout out to latest sub. We got Ryan McKenna in the building. Appreciate you stopping by, fam. Smashing them likeys, stuffing some baggies. Go ahead. Throw on those moon suits. Throw on those pilot shades. Buckle up, cause the future's extra. Bullish. Let's go full speed, full throttle into the cryptoverse with the total global cryptocurrency market cap today at 1.78 trillion, up almost 1% in the past 24 hours. We got the total trading volume in the last day right around 77 billion. BTC's dominance 47.5%, ETH 17.3%. We got XRP in that number 6 spot right around 58 cents, down about 0.2% in the past 24. We got Stellar XLM in the number 28 spot right around 12 cents, down 0.8. BTC 43,11. We got ETH right around 25 hundo, so right around 96. We got XDC in the number 102 spot right beneath the nickel. Flare Networks at 2 cents. We got Songbird right around 007, and we got Zahao right around 19 cents. Taking a look at the altcoin season index, it is still altcoin season, currently right around a 76. Up above a 75 is considered to be altcoin season. We got a few videos coming out of Davos, starting off with 801 XRP, Davos 2024, CNBC, and Big Brad Garland House on how the crypto industry will rebuild. Ripple at its core is a blockchain infrastructure company serving enterprises. Welcome to the Internet of Value.
And it certainly didn't sound like the SEC or the chair, Gary Gensler, changed their tone. Even after the approval of the Bitcoin ETF, there was a statement. Gary Gensler said he didn't endorse Bitcoin. He still called most other crypto assets securities. Is this posturing, or do you think there's a chance the SEC has changed its stance?
There's an expression about, one of the definitions of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and not expecting a different outcome. I think Gary Gensler is doing the same thing over and over again, and it thinks that somehow he's going to win in court. He has continued to lose in court. I do think the chair of the SEC, Gary Gensler, has become a political liability in the United States. And I think he's not acting in the best interest of the citizenry. He's not acting in the best interest of the long-term growth of the economy. And I don't understand it. And I think at some point, there will be a new chair of the SEC, and I think that'll be a good thing for the American people.
There were a couple of interesting things after that Bitcoin ETF was approved in that statement. One, and I paraphrase here, was effectively Gary Gensler saying, just because we allowed the Bitcoin ETF, don't think we're now going to allow a bunch of other crypto assets. The second interesting thing was the price of Ether skyrocketed immediately after on hopes that there could now next be an ETH ETF. What are the chances of that?
I think it's a certainty.
This year?
I'm not going to put a horizon on the time, but I think there will be other ETFs for sure.
An XRP one?
there will be other ETFs for sure.
but an XRP one?
I love this game we play. Look, I am very...
Last time
that's fine. But look, the sad part of that reality is we have a Bitcoin ETF only because a U.S. court said to the SEC, you're being arbitrary and capricious in your application of the law. What would be sad is if every ETF had to go through that same journey and for Gary Gensler to get smacked down by the U.S. court system again. That might be necessary, but again, at some point, I think Gary Gensler won't be the chair of the SEC, and that'll be a good thing for the American people.
There's what the SEC does, and then there's what is going on in Washington amongst lawmakers, and those are linked but also separate. Now, the US hasn't passed any kind of comprehensive regulation around crypto assets at this point, unlike you see in the European Union with MiCA and some of the other jurisdictions you mentioned earlier as well, Dubai. But there are a number of bills trying to make their way through the lawmaking process. One of those is around stablecoins. There's a number of others as well. Do you think that in 2024 there is the political will, given it's an election year as well, to pass some of these bills and bring them into law?
I said earlier I don't like to predict things based on time, and this one I will. I think this year there will be legislation that passes. I won't be as predictive about which one. I think likelihood is that the stablecoin. Clarity for stablecoin. I can't remember the name of the bill that has been going through the system in Washington, D.C. But I think we will see that in part because the U.S. Treasury wants it. Right? I think the stablecoin market has really surprised people in some ways in terms of solving a real need. And I think it only makes sense for there to be regulatory clarity around that. I think that's good for the whole industry. And one of the things you said earlier is, are there skeletons in the closet? The stablecoin market, because there hasn't been clear rules of the road, it'll be interesting as that comes to fruition. The two primary, obviously USDT and USDC, I think they are here to stay, and I think you're going to see other entrants in that market too.
You said before that the US risks losing some of the leadership around this industry, that other countries have taken a lead, and a lot of that is due to what the SEC does and the fact there isn't clear regulation in the US. If the regulation does pass this year, if there's clearer rules for the road for the broader industry, does that help? Will the US be able to compete with some of these other jurisdictions who took an early lead in this industry?
For sure, yes. I don't think the market has passed to the U.S. I think it has passing. And you are seeing, look, we have publicly shared over 70% of Ripple's hiring last year was non-U.S., despite the fact that there's still a majority of our employees in the United States. Why would we want to hire in a market where we have a hostile government? We have a government who won't provide the clarity we have asked for, where we had to fight for years and spend well over $100 million in the court system to fight them. So, there will continue to be a lot of activity, I think, in London, in Dubai, in Singapore, in some of the other, financial capitals of the world. But I think the U.S. eventually figures it out. I don't know how to predict what's going to happen in the election cycle, but no matter what, there's going to be, a shift, if you will. And I think we will see a shift at the SEC, hopefully to a new chair that is constructive and wants to work with the industry and not put their own agenda ahead of the American people's.
I've been asking you this since 2020 because that's how long it's been going on for. Ripple versus the SEC lawsuit. When do we get a conclusion?
Look, but most of it has been resolved, right? So the SEC filed a lawsuit in December of 2020, so just over 3 years ago, against me, against Chris Larson, and against Ripple. The case against Chris and Brad, myself, have been dismissed entirely with prejudice, meaning they can't ever bring it back. And the case against Ripple, they lost on everything they cared about. Their primary tenet was that XRP is a security. And in the Judge Torres's opinion, what she wrote is XRP is in and of itself not a security. So I feel very good about that. The SEC then asked for approval to appeal that decision, and that was denied. So, the SEC has lost consistently in this case. There is a piece of the case that continues around institutional sales, because investment contracts, where Ripple sold XRP to institutions who wanted to speculate. The irony there is, again, the SEC's one of their missions is to protect investors. How many of our institutional XRP sales did they lose money? None. What are we arguing about? Anyway, so look, that will proceed through the court system for a little bit longer, but I feel very good about where we are, and I frankly really pleased for the whole XRP ecosystem, and the whole crypto market benefited immensely from that legal win.
Just for the last 5 minutes, Brad, let's talk about Ripple, what your focus is this year, where you're going, and the future. For 2024, where are you putting your energy?
Well, a couple things come to mind there. Obviously, our core product around Ripple Payments has continued to grow, and that's something we'll continue to invest in, more payout markets around the world. We, through an acquisition, entered the custody market in 2023. Certainly a lot of our investment, our incremental new investment in 2024 will be investing in the custody business.
Is that in anticipation of sort of some of these bigger investors getting into the markets? And
well, on one hand, I say yes. However, there's already a tremendous amount of demand. That business is growing very quickly. We announced publicly just a month or two ago that HSBC is a new client of that business. So, these are big accounts as well as more mid-market accounts. The custody business is very real and is going to continue to grow nicely. I do think Ripple thinks about entering other vertical markets. So payments, custody, I think we'll do other things in 2024. Some of those will probably enter through acquisition. We've been super fortunate to have a very strong balance sheet at a time that, that the market has shifted and the valuations of a lot of these companies is not what it once was. That's been an opportunity for us. And so we're going to continue to play offense.
And what are the areas that interest you then?
I was thinking about being your wardrobe consultant. No, I'm not going to announce the world, the key areas. But look, Ripple at its core is a blockchain infrastructure company serving enterprises. We started with payments and financial institutions. We've moved into custody, a lot of overlap with those same financial institutions. But we're going to expand with that same thematic of infrastructure, enterprise-based, that served us well.
They know what's coming. We know what's coming, and they can't stop it. No one can speak about what's coming for XRP. XRP ETF imminent. Also, Big Brad Garland House. Got his moon boots on, ready. You know what's coming. They know what's coming. They can't stop it. We got another one coming out of Davos 2024. Big Brad Garland House, crypto at the crossroads, future-proofing digital assets, CFTC, Caroline DeFam, Bloomberg Live, Big BG.
I'll also give Commissioner Pham props. She spent time going around the world and meeting with a lot of these other regulators where this is not rocket science. You could probably type into Sam's OpenAI, how do you regulate the U.S. and get a better answer than we're getting from the SEC. Maybe. I haven't tried that, actually. I should try it. Anyway, look, the amazing thing is I really do feel like the U.S. should and could be a leader in this market. And there are a lot of companies that are leading, but the U.S. government has not yet been providing that framework that should help.
Yeah, and I think to pick up on points that both of you raised, I think we need to get over the fact that if you are engaging in activity that involves money, banking, or markets, of course you're going to be subject to financial regulation. But what I think is more interesting is how do we address non-financial activities? How do we distinguish between what is financial activity and commercial activity? So I'll give you an example. Amazon and eBay are digital marketplaces, but nobody thinks that they should be regulated like securities exchanges. So I think we need to focus on that set of laws. And I actually think a big way to move the needle forward in the United States is if we developed a definition for utility token like other jurisdictions, as Brad has noted, have. That's, I think, a step forward to understanding how this is going to impact the real economy.
Let's talk about the two kinds of investors in this situation. You have retail investors and you have more sophisticated investors. What are the implications of focusing more of this conversation on the sophisticated investors versus the retail investors?
So I think what's great about the CFTC's regulatory framework, is that it's principles-based. And if you look at bodies like FSB and like IOSCO, they also take a principles-based approach because, of course, every jurisdiction needs to take their national laws into consideration. Well, the benefits of having a principle-based regulatory framework is that it works for both sophisticated investors and it protects retail investors. And I think the benefits of a principles-based framework is also that it allows regulators to anticipate and adapt to new and emerging risks because, as we've all seen, the rulemaking process can be bogged down. It can be halted. The courts can overturn it. It takes a long time, and it should take a long time. There should be opportunity for public consultation and notice and comment. But at the same time, there's a lot of other tools that regulators already have today. There's the power to inspect or examine, the power to enforce, as we've discussed, and the power to regulate. And I think those are broad authorities. We should be using all three.
So, getting into crypto and blockchain and leveraging the technology, Ripple set out to modernize payments by building blockchain-based financial infrastructure that vastly improves on much of what the world uses today. So, Brad, are payments still the best use case for crypto assets and technology that undergirds it? And what payments can lead to in terms of other use cases?
Well, for me, Ripple started with payments. Actually, when I joined the company 9 years ago, there were 3 different groups within the company working on an identity solution, a payment solution, and I'm forgetting the third one right now because that was a long time ago. But it was like, hey, let's focus on one where there's a clear, it's solving a real problem. And look, while we've had a dent, maybe we've made a scratch in that market, it is a massive market. And I'm sure many people, by virtue of sitting in this room in Switzerland today, have had the experience of sending money overseas. It is still high friction, high error rate, it's slow, it's expensive. And that's the opportunity to use these technologies to actually make it much simpler, much faster, without sacrificing some of the core principles around KYC or AML or what have you. So I think the payments opportunity remains very large. It will continue to make progress. And when I say that, I mean both Ripple and the industry at large. There's other people approaching in different, some are going after consumer-based solutions. Ripple's very much focused on the enterprise and the infrastructure around that. There are, I think, going to be other use cases that are profound. I think the fact that there's now an ETF approved in the United States with major institutions like BlackRock leaning in is further validation. But I think we need to make sure that we're focused on utility. Some of the things I'm sure that people in this room have heard talked about, tokenization of real world assets and democratizing access to the participation in those markets, I think is very real. Whether that's commercial real estate, and some are working on identity-based solutions and even voting-based solutions. I'm certainly not an expert on those things, but I think the blockchain-based solutions are here to stay, and I think in the coming years you'll see more and more real-world use cases gaining traction.
XRP, the only digital asset with utility with legal clarity in the United States. 2024 and beyond will be the year of the utility. XRP, the flipping. Another one from Big Brad Garlandhouse says, I do think that the chair of the SEC, Gary Gensler, is a political liability in the United States. And I think he's not acting in the interest of the citizenry. He's not acting in the interest of the long-term growth of the economy. And I don't understand it. Ripple CEO calls out U.S. Chair Gary Gensler as a political liability. Drain the swamp, free the standard. Get those jumpsuits. Get those jail cells ready. We got another one from Davos. XRP drops, emphasizing the need for society to embrace AI or you'll be completely finished.
The word that can tell you the difference between the word complete and finished. But there's a way for you to understand it. If you use embrace artificial intelligence, you will be complete. If you do not and you're late, you'll be finished. And if you reject it altogether, you will be completely finished.
Real boy XRP, the power of Ripple XRP, governments and central banks around the world are salivating.
We have a currency exchange sort of built into the protocol so that you can hold your local balances in dollars. And then if I want to send, say, yen to someone else, I can look out in the network, and their protocol enables market makers as well as individuals to make bids for different currencies to exchange them. And so if I want to send yen to someone, I can see exactly how many yen I'm going to get for my dollar at the moment I ask the transaction to occur. So it'll simultaneously clear a sequence of transactions. So say I have a local financial institution that's holding my dollars, and that financial institution is plugged into the Ripple network. If I want to send someone yen, there'll be a transaction from my dollars to someone else who my financial institution has chosen to trust, who's a market maker between dollars and XRP, the native currency. Then there may be another market maker who will make a transaction between XRP and yen, and that market maker, you would look for one who is trusted by the institution of the person who wants to receive your yen. Okay, so there's not just yen on the system, but there's yen associated with particular institutions, and the institutions can choose who to trust. And as a consumer, I can confirm all three of those transactions simultaneously, so I don't have to suffer any exchange rate risk. There's still bid-ask spreads that are set by the market makers, but there's no risk. I know exactly how many yen will go. And so again, you might ask, well, what's the role of the XRP, this native digital currency in the middle? It's just a central node that connects everyone else. It connects the yen to market makers, to the dollar market makers. So you have fewer hops to get from one thing to another, and that XRP hop is sort of risk-free. And so what that's going to do is it's also going to encourage people to hold their local currency. And even though, as I mentioned, some of the initial interest in Bitcoin came from people who didn't want to hold their local currency. They had, fears about central governments doing hyperinflation, which, in the United States is less justified. Obviously, there's some countries where that is a legitimate fear, but there were people who just, for whatever reasons, didn't want to hold their local currency. Those people wanted to hold Bitcoin. But most consumers actually would be better off holding their local currency. Their local currency is what they get paid in, it's what they buy things in, and they really don't want to be subject to extra exchange rate risk. And so one of the things that the Ripple protocol does is it really encourages people to go ahead and hold their local currency, whatever other currency they want. They only use the digital currency as a rail, as a way to get from point A to point B. So in the Bitcoin world, you can do that by putting together an exchange with a transaction, and potentially a third party could create something similar. So with Ripple, it's built into the protocol. And I think what's kind of interesting, though, about the Ripple protocol is it really highlights that it's not about holding the currency. I mean, you can hold the currency, but it's not.
XRP 1,000 times faster, 1,000 times cheaper than BTC, the immutable, decentralized, interoperable bridge asset. If you can't see what's coming, it's time to wake up, because the trains left the station. We got XRP Daily. The winners are already chosen. XRP, XLM, gold, silver.
In March of 2023, there was a report by the IMF titled Trust Bridges and Money Flows, a digital marketplace to improve cross-border payments. And interestingly, on page 23, they mentioned two digital assets, and that's XRP and XLM.
The Bank for International Settlements publishes their money flower. And there is a small space in that money flower for those private cryptocurrencies. So I agree with you that the winners of this have already been chosen.
I believe so.
Right? And I think that you just named the two that are most likely that. And I think also Wall Street's totally adopted Bitcoin.
XRPs, clearly shaking the system. know what you hold. We got one from Joe Katz, David Schwartz. The billions of XRP move statement is misleading. The actual amount transferred was worth just a few cents. Kudos to Bitfinex for effectively neutralizing an exploit attempt. What happened here isn't a flaw or a vulnerability with the XRP ledger. The partial payment feature is a standard and secure financial tool. Bitfinex handled it properly, which is why we're able to prevent any potential issue. Today's thwart is a strong reminder to all institutions and applications of the importance of proper configuration and integration. Cannot be understated. For secure integration with the XRP level proper payment feature, check out xrpl.org. Partial payments feature of the XRP Ledger Network was used in an unsuccessful exploit attempt on the prominent crypto exchange Bitfinex. We got stellar org, every country, every use case. The most important thing is interoperability and standards, says FDF's Candace Kelly at World Economic Forum 2024. We got high vibe assets. Crypto is coming to every person on the planet. Once regulations are here, crypto will take over the planet. This is bigger than the internet. Welcome to the internet of value.
I think, as was mentioned in the report, we will get there soon, I hope, in the United States. And I think that will create a massive opportunity for growth. I think that regulation's important to kind of prevent this fear of you're going to go to jail or you're going to get this wrong or you're going to get fined, right? But I think that it's really critical that we get past where's the safe place to do crypto, which I hope is soon, because there's 8 billion people on the planet and about 70% of them have mobile cell phone access, and digital assets enable the financialization of the internet. And we can bring financial services and digital assets to every single person on the planet that has a phone, and that's going to transcend local regulation. So I think that the key is let's get the regulation in place so we can all build businesses and create economic value globally.
We got crypto's TA refusing to leave this super tight range, stuck below the resistance and continues to hold support. Daily close above the 57.8 is what bulls want to see for XRP. We got L Crypto, altcoins next target, the checkered flag. I've been sharing this chart for several months now. Nice to see, and everything is going according to plan. BTC dominance breaks down. The chart looks prime. Setting everything season continues soon, in my opinion. We got XRP Crypto XRP Giant Cup update. For a clearer picture, check out the post from November 6th. What's happening now with the Giant Cup? First and foremost, my bullish targets remain unchanged. $20, $60, all-time high, $7.50, $13, and $27. As of now, XRP is gracefully adhering to the curve structure of the cup, charting an upward trajectory marked by higher lows. The 55-cent level stands as a significant support for XRP, and my unwavering belief is that it won't close the weekly candle below 50 cents. While the edge of the Atlas lines looms at 43 cents, I'm not holding my breath for this scenario. My focus is on the bigger picture. And we got another one from XRP, bear market bounce versus the bull market bounce. XRP is strong, but if BTC drops, it could affect XRP for sure. Although XRP may move with BTC to some degree, its percentage drop this time might be less than that of the other alts. BTC is nearing an inflection point. Wait and see how XRP will have its own bump. We got Wave of Innovation, exciting news. We're thrilled to announce the dynamic partnership between Waves of Innovation, Bagman for the Gold Coast 2024 conference. Get ready for an unforgettable experience. Join us at the welcome party on Friday night, featuring electrifying performances by yours truly, the Bagman and Lady E. Let's kick off the conference in style and build connections that go beyond business, because as you know, the best deals are made off the stage. And that's not all. Bagman Lady E will be sending us off in the night with a bang at the after party on Sunday night. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to network, learn, and celebrate together. XRP Gold Coast 2024.com. We got Descent Wallets. Looking forward to 2024 with our partners. We got XDC Domains, thrilled to announce our strategic partnership with on XDC Network. Proud to be a part of the XDC's vibrant ecosystem, and we're eagerly anticipating amazing developments ahead for our projects. The XDC Network, Descent Wallet, your best wallet for XRP, XDC, Flare, Songbird, Algo. Know what you hold, know what's coming, and know why they want you out. Self-custody is the only way, not your keys, not your crypto. Links down below for the single pack or the double pack with the Bagman discount. With that being said, Batman and Bag Ladies, where will those bags be when that regulation jar molasses finally breaks open and XRP's true price is finally revealed? Later glitches, I am the XRP Bagman, the Moon Commander, currently up here on the mothership, stuffing some baggies and enjoying the show. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in, smashing them likeys for some more Moon o'clock news. Hope y'all continue to stay extra bullish. Continue holding those good vibes. Remember to sell the FUD. Buy up those baggies and don't forget to spread that liquid love. Also, if you're new here, don't forget to drop a subscribe. Drop a comment down below. All the OG diamond hands out there. Drop a comment down below. Drop an elbow on that like button. From the top ropes, catch you will appear. Top floor on the mothership. For the moon party, BYOB. Bring your own bags. Be your own bank. Be your own boss. Also, we'll be out in Sacktown next Sunday. We see you out there for the Sacktown Rich Ducks Crypto Meetup. Peace out, Crypto Ghost. Later, glitches.
But to get these drops, got drops on drops and they coming in fast. And it's been a long journey, just thankful for the chance. Haters in the comments, no pop, they mad. I remember when I got in, only wanted a few stacks, but you can never have enough, keep adding zerps to the stash. And however this thing go, I'm just hoping we free some souls. The richest ducks in Babylon, to found my way and ghost. Swimming in a pond of wealth as that liquidity flows. As the story goes, better get these drops in.